Everybody look on the screen. Here we have a retired insurance man. Okay, I think was a retired insurance agent. And I'm gonna go ahead and play what happened to him. So very, very unfortunately, he lost $1.6 million in an AI investment scheme. Listen to this. There we go. Ron Williams never imagined. Just so you know, he's with his it's him, the reporter, and he's also with his son. And he'd have to tell his son he lost everything he'd saved up to someone he never met. At first, I was devastated and I felt stupid. The 76-year-old retired insurance agent from Brooklyn says it started with a random text message from someone calling herself Jenny that turned into friendly banter, with Jenny sending this video and saying she was 33, Christian, and living in Boston. It was easy communication. It felt very comfortable. Jenny soon told William she was making a fortune investing and asked him to join her. Within about 6 months, he'd invested $1.6 million. He could. Now, let me go ahead and show you Jenny. Here's Jenny, everybody. That's Jenny. Comfortable. Jenny soon told William she was making a fortune investing and asked him to join her. Within about 6 months, he'd invested $1.6 million. He could see his money growing on the platform. But William's son had suspicions. Part of what's hard is from the very first moment he tells me about Jenny, and he's like, you ever get one of these messages? Yeah, all the time. And they're all fake. We had the suspicion, but not the evidence. Until he did a reverse image search on Jenny and found several social media accounts using what appear to be the same videos. Did you ever ask to meet her in person? Several times. There was always an excuse to not meet in person. Right. Months into the relationship, Jenny told him she lent him $110,000 for a big investment opportunity. When he tried to pay her back, the wire transfer to China was blocked. So Williams agreed to meet a runner in his home and handed him a bag with $110,000 in cash. I didn't know. Oh my God, what a terrifying idea. At this point, do you think Jenny is even a real person? At this point, I'm wondering, but I'm so deeply in terms of money that I'm praying that it is true. And when Williams wanted to take out his money, some $4 million, Jenny said he'd have to send more money to cover the taxes. That's when alarm bells started going off. Williams' son then made his own AI-generated video of Jenny to show him just how easy it is. I felt this incredible connection. Williams accepted he'd been scammed and reported it to police and the FBI. This is not the work of some supercoder. This took me 3 minutes on a site that didn't even charge me money to do it, and that's super scary. NBC News. Now, and I'm going to say this. I just wonder, for my community specifically, what if it was Keisha on the screen? Would this have happened? So there's two things. I think it's elder abuse. It is totally wrong. But I think also this happens to a lot of people, a lot of seniors. And I think he was probably lonely. But I'm going to say it again for the ones in the back, to my girls in the BC. If it was Keisha, would this have happened? It probably would have been seen as a scam from the get-go. Because you know why? I rarely see the AI, when it comes to these scams, putting themselves in a position for a person of color or someone like me, a minority, a Black person. Why? Because automatically, when we're out front, and it could be something that's possibly legit. Scams happen universal. No one's immune. There's no one race that does or does not do it. But it did make me think, what if it was Keisha or Brenda from the neighborhood? This never would have happened. See, people know the psychology of other people and they prey on that. All these AI scams. Sir, you're 76. This girl young enough to be your granddaughter. What kind of investment advice she gonna have for you? And let's be real about it. When these folks see a gold mine, they don't come running to the BC. They come to the Black community to build a business and then to establish a gold mine, because that's pretty much guaranteed. But since when are they just all of a sudden, we got a great new invention, let's bring one. How many invites have you had to come to the think tanks to help build the robots? You think everything is just for free?
That's why people have investment brokers. That's why they are certified financial planners, CFP. So the fact that he would listen to and then you can't meet her, oh my goodness. The loneliness is real. And a lot of times, this is what happens to older people because they're older and you can't tell them anything. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem right there. I don't want folks up in my business until the business goes bust.
Was always an excuse to not meet in person.
Right. So look, he wants to meet her in person. So they can't meet you in person, but they can take your money. I can't believe it. $1.6 million. Generational wealth just wiped out. I guess now you're going to be relying on the son. Who's going to pay the taxes? I'm assuming there's a pension coming in on the house, the property, and things he might need. $1.6 million. I can't believe it.
And they're all fake. We had the suspicion, but not the evidence.
So his son had to sit him down and let him know, hey, this is what it is. But a lot of times people are older. Oh, my privacy. Yep. And your privacy could be the financial end of the. Honestly, no joke.
On Jenny and found several social media accounts using what appear to be the same videos. Did you ever ask to meet her in person?
Several times.
There was always an excuse to not meet in person.
Right.
Months into the relationship.
So always an excuse not to meet, but you just forked over some money on the hope of meeting someone. You got to be kidding me. Always an excuse, but you coming off your money. You don't find that a little obtuse? I mean, this is crazy to me. Oh, you want to meet Jenny? She's old enough to be not your daughter, your granddaughter. What you have in common with her? See, these people come to the neighborhood and the community to start a business and to build wealth, generational wealth. Since when have they come to you with a great idea to make you a whole lot of money? Wow. Unbelievable.
What appear to be the same videos. Did you ever ask to meet her in person?
Several times.
There was always an excuse to not meet in person.
Right.
Months into the relationship, Jenny told him she lent him $110,000 for a big investment opportunity. When he tried to pay her back, the wire transfer to China was blocked. So Williams agreed to meet a runner in his home and handed him a bag with $110,000 in cash.
I didn't.
That part right there. So let's get it right. So she tells you that she loaned you $10,000 for an investment. What the heck, man? And you just believed her. She tells you she loaned you $110,000 for a big investment, and I want to pay her back. What proof do you have? Do you have any paperwork? Is there a number you can call? That's what she told me. And see, here's my thing about when these things happen, and I'm not saying this is a reflection of him because I don't know him personally, but see, it's things like that kind of get into my craw when I see, speaking in general, because I don't know the man. But speaking in general, I've noticed a lot of times when they come to finances, when these women will be sitting up here, oh, they're holding tight and to their man and holding them down, they'll do whatever they can and scrimp and scrap and save and won't complain. And sometimes these men will do nothing for you. I'm not saying they got some bad karma. This thing just happened. Bad things happen to everybody. But it blows my mind. And then you see something like this here. Oh, she told you she lent you $110,000. How could you be so gullible? And let me go ahead and pay her back. Anybody can make up a screenshot and put some numbers on it. Some folks are real technical. I'm not. But some people can do that. So my point is, I'm looking at how quickly. So she told you she lent you $110,000, and you believed her. And then I think about women that are so true and honest to these men, and then they can barely get a money for Starbucks out of them. But somebody comes along with a little picture, and oh, you buying it. You can't meet the person, but she told you. I mean, this is beyond. Huh? She told you. And lets me think that he was desperate for a relationship. He was so desperate. He was hoping to get with Jenny, is what this tells me. This ain't about no Dawn. I think it's about he wanted to meet with Jenny. And now, what? And especially coming from this community, how many have the opportunity? $1.6 million done got scammed. These seniors get scammed every day, and a lot of these men. But again, I have noticed a lot of times when women are very faithful to men and they'll be all about that man and he's not treating them right, and women to stick around on the hope that he gonna come to the light and treat you right. Good luck with that. But then all you have right now is a picture. Again, it happens to women too. All you have right now is a picture and a conversation. Haven't even met the person. Might be a man behind the scam. A Nigerian guy did that. He was putting up these pictures. Oh, and get money out these men, and it was the same thing, AI. And turns out we want to meet, they couldn't meet. Then investigation, he got millions. What happened? It was a man. So instead of him thinking it's Ling Ling Long, it could be Mr. Wong. So that's what blows my mind. So quick to turn over money to a stranger, but don't be surprised with these men. It's a woman that'll be down for him. She'll suffer for him. Oh my goodness. Share her last breadcrumb and still stand by his side. And sometimes these men won't do nothing. But look how easy it is for a trick to come along, and not even just a physical trick. This is an IA trick to come along with a picture, and you done came off all your money. Unbelievable.
To not meet in person. Right. Months into the relationship.
So it's always an excuse. What kind of relationship did you think you had? Sir, you're getting played. That was a relationship. You're getting played and she's getting paid.
Fake. We had the suspicion, but not the evidence.
Until he did a reverse image search on Jenny and found several social media accounts using what appear to be the same videos. Did you ever ask to meet her in person?
Several times.
There was always an excuse to not meet in person.
Right.
Months into the relationship, Jenny told him she lent him $110,000 for a big investment opportunity. When he tried to pay her back, the wire transfer to China was blocked. So Williams agreed to meet a runner in his home and handed him a bag with $110,000 in cash.
I didn't know. Oh my God, what a terrifying idea.
At this point, do you think Jenny is even a real person?
At this point, I'm wondering, but I'm so deeply in terms of money that I'm praying that it is.
And sir, even if she is real, you think she gonna give you your money back? The runner might be Jenny. The runner might be Jenny. Sitting up in the U.S. 100. She told this thing. No proof. She told him that she loaned him $110,000 cash. Let me pay you back. She told you, and you just believed automatically. I wonder. I'm assuming the mother's not around. But maybe she's transitioning on to glory. But I wonder how he treated his wifey. You got a son, so I wonder how he treated the missus. I just kind of wonder when you're holding every dime. I'm trying to tell you, I've heard about things happen. These men will be penny pinching. The wife got to kind of squeeze the last buck out of his hand, like it got the death grip on. He don't want to let go. But then they'll get with somebody, some young thing, and all of a sudden, oh, he's the philanthropist. Is that right? I've actually heard of that. So that's why that thinking process hit my mind. I wonder how you treat your wife in life. You want to meet Jenny, so she tells you that she put $110,000 in an investment for you. Let me pay you. He was that gullible to believe it, and probably lonely. So just by putting a picture of Jenny, $1.6 million. Gone. 1 point what?
There we go.
Ron Williams never imagined he'd have to tell his son he lost everything he'd saved up to someone he never met.
At first, I was devastated and I felt stupid.
The 76-year-old retired insurance agent from Brooklyn says it started with a random text message from someone calling herself Jenny that turned into friendly banter, with Jenny sending this video and saying she was 33, Christian, and living in Boston.
It was easy communication. It felt very.
So Jenny has that kind of money, living in Boston. And you forking over that kind of money, but she can't come and see you. You can't meet her. He probably look at that picture thinking, oh, I'm going to get with Jenny. I can't wait to get with Jenny. I see these younger ones getting with the non-black women. Here's my chance. I'm going to get with Jenny. Baby, Jenny, just getting with your wallet.
Comfortable.
Jenny soon told William she was making a fortune investing and asked him to join her. Within about 6 months, he'd invested $1.6 million.
It only took 6 months. It only took 6 months, and he's gotten God $1.6 million. Generational wealth wiped out by Jenny. Generational wealth wiped out by desire to probably get with Jenny is what I think. Ain't no way you're going to tell me a man just was hoping just to have coffee and be friends with her. I think he probably might have thought, this is going to be my girlfriend. I got me a young one. Oh, That's what I mean. I'm not trying to be funny. Oh, man. What they say, you got to be. Not you got to be. You got to be kidding me, senior bruh. 6 months. Jenny, based on a photo and some text and some videos, oh, she's Christian. Wow. Talk about played. And this is truly a crime. I'm starting to think we don't know if Jenny could be the runner that showed up to get the money.
Very comfortable.
Jenny soon told William she was making
so he was, what does he feel very comfortable?
Retired insurance agent from Brooklyn says it started with a random text message from someone calling herself Jenny that turned into friendly banter, with Jenny sending this video and saying she was 33, Christian, and living in Boston.
It was easy communication. It felt very comfortable.
Jenny soon told William she was making a fortune investing and asked him to join her. Within about 6 months, he'd invested $1.6 million. He could see his money growing on the platform. But William's son had suspicions.
Part of what's hard is from the very first moment he tells me about Jenny, and he's like, you ever get one of these messages? Yeah, all the time. And they're all fake. We had the suspicion, but not the evidence.
Until he did a reverse image search on Jenny and found several social media accounts.
Listen, stuff like this, and I said in the spirit of love, that's why I know it's kind of hard for older people. Stuff like that, you need to let people know what's going on. But quite often when they get older, they don't want you in my business until something like this happens. Stuff like this, the man's son seems to be very intelligent. He does. So when things like this happen, I think it is a good idea. The older they get, somebody needs to go ahead and monitor things. And when money starts coming out, you need to have an issue where anything over maybe $1,000, $2,000, it needs to be a contact from the bank. My mom's side of the family, long story short, they had some wealth, and people tell me about old reparations. Let me tell you something. It is due, because on that side of the family, I remember when I was 19 years old, they were showing me stuff and they had cotton fields, and I knew what the story was of my great grandmother and the man that she had children with. I knew all about that. And then you look up, a lot of that land was sold, and you do have some people living very comfortable off that today. I remember they had a cousin, and they said a bank had called and said, he been down here again, and he just got another $50,000 from one of the aunts. And the bank called and they was letting them know he's getting money down here again at the bank. He just got 50,000 on from the aunt. Last time it was a business deal that went bust. He's down here again. So then they call the ones out of state to say, hey, here's what's going on. You need things like that in place. Then they had to go down there and make a little trip and set him straight. And he was just doing some flyby. I think you just living off the money, to be totally honest with you. But it's things like that. A lot of people, they get older. Oh, my privacy. Well, when you get played, and like on this screen, $1.6 million by Jenny, it's a little bit late. So people need to put those parameters in place to secure the wealth. So basically, the son's inheritance is just gone. His life savings is gone. It only took 6 months. So people need to put things in place. I know they probably don't want to. That's my money, my. If you have somebody you can trust, they need to put things in place where the bank can contact you. When he drew out that $110,000, I wish his son would have known, then this probably would have happened. So he's 76, all his savings, $1.6 million gone in 6 months to Jenny. Again, we don't know if Jenny was the runner. The fact that he drew out that kind of money. But I know older people, and especially in my community, the ones that's trying to protect them, not saying this is applying to him applicable, but in general, I've noticed that the one that's trying to protect them, that'll be the one they'll be trying to accuse, trying to sit still and get my money. Then, when it all blows up in smoke, so, okay, now what happened? What have you been doing? I've seen this personally. When somebody accused me of trying to get your money, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Because I don't know. Once I see that, I need it one time. Once I see that, I'm like, no, I'm introducing you to somebody who knows how to invest. I'm not going to be the one doing it, trying to get my money. And next thing you know, put the money on a darn crackhead. Put the money on a smoking crackhead. I'm like, you could have taken that $35,000 and made a fortune with it. But put the money in a crackhead. Then comes up with, I thought that person was gonna get it together. Girl, bye. You really, lady? I thought he was gonna get it together. Why would you invest in a crackhead? So you put me as the would-be thief. Ooh, that's my cue to stay away from you because I don't want that kind of label on me. So you already. So what happened? The non-working crackhead that went through all the money. No kidding. Okay, and you're telling me this because. Oh, so now you think about what I said. No. No, you labeled me as someone trying to get your money, so I'm out. Go to your crackhead. I've never done drugs in my life. You trying to steal from me. A lot of things, not a thief. My fingerprints, baby, are already on file with the Alphabet Boys for business purposes. Let's make that clear. Trying to steal from me. No, I leave it alone. So that's what happens. And then when the BS done hit the fan, when they got by Jenny, then that's when they want to come to you and have the conversation. So I wish they would have had those parameters in place before that happened, so that could have prevented it. 110,000 is no comparison to $1.6 million. Because maybe by then, if the son had known, he could have jumped in and said, "Oh no, we're stopping this right now." But oh no, a lot of times you can't tell older people anything. Look at this. Saying he feels like a fool. It happens every day. But notice 6 months, all based on a picture. And when it comes to, I think, people from this community, the picture got the complexion for the protection to automatically assume that everything is okay. What if that had been a black woman on the AI? And don't have a lace front or something on. You can't win either way, natural, whatever. What if that had been a black woman? Would that have worked? Let me know what y'all think. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Sorry about the phone, but we got a medical thing going on. So I had to make sure I had the phone nearby. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. If there is wealth in the family, please do all you can to conserve it. Because these AI scams, they say they're supercharged, and it's not going to stop. And I'm out. Jenny.